Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. It's the Sutton Podcast.
And there it is! Sutton United of the GM Vauxhall Conference have put out First Division Coventry City, winners of the FA Cup themselves less than 2 years ago. And what a moment to enjoy for the fans of this Surrey side. They've had their moments before, but never one like this.
But the whistle goes now. Delight for Sutton United. Sutton United, the National League, are through to the last 16 of the FA Cup. No longer English football's perennial non-league club. A 123-year crescendo reaches a new peak for Sutton United, who are promoted to the Football League for the first time.
Hello and welcome to the Sutton United Talk Time on podcast, the Sunday service. I do have a couple of guests with me today, but first I want to do a couple of quick apologies. For the first time ever, last time I promoted the following podcast with telling you who was on, and then we had a bit of a scheduling conflict, and unfortunately Sol couldn't do it. It's disappointing for me, but he couldn't do it because he was mega busy, so you can't actually be too disappointed that someone's doing really, really well and they're getting lots more work than they thought they had. And secondly, I have watched Good Morning Vietnam this week. So if I start going into Robin Williams mode, please forgive me. It won't be as funny, but I might have the annoying voice. But joining me today, backed by popular demand, is Gabriel. Hello, Gabriel. How are you?
Hello, I'm fine. And you?
Very well, thank you. And I don't mean this funny, but especially delighted to be joined by Paul Chalmers, considering the conversation we had yesterday. How are you, PC?
I'm good. As I said, it's been a long week, and it was a bit further back than usual in the brain.
It was a lovely moment where Paul sort of turned around and said, "Oh, who have you got on tomorrow?" And my face just kind of went, "You."
So I answered for you, though. I did answer for you. It came
you did,
you
did answer for me, and you remembered the time as well. So that it was definitely there.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't forget you can join in the chat across the socials at Sutton Podcast, and especially on YouTube, where I'm still desperate for subscribers so I can change the actual channel's name. So if anyone listens, please subscribe. I think you can probably unsubscribe afterwards. So once I've changed it. But let's crack on. Yesterday, that was fun, wasn't it? How did we enjoy yesterday? Gabriel, let's go with you.
Well, I think nobody expected to have two consecutive relaxed wins. That's for sure. We didn't see many this season at GGL. I think it was basically another two, if we count Mansfield game, which was settled like 20 minutes before the end, and Carlisle 4-0. Those were the only relaxed wins that we had at home in this season. So we didn't expect to have back-to-back easy wins, for sure.
Well, I think I was standing next to Paul, and I think even with 20 minutes or so to go, we were still going, well, you know what, if they get one here.
Yeah.
Pessimists.
Yeah. Realists.
I think it was a really good game, maybe one of the best games we've had in this season, because they only had that chance at 0-0 when the Richie had, after a free kick, I think, Richie had headed the ball in the middle of our area and he kicked it over the bar. But besides that, they didn't actually had a real chance to score, while we could have scored about 8 if we count Bugil's and Bennett's headers in the first half, and Boldevin's chance to score the third, and Ben Goodlife that was denied by the keeper. So
it was a good save, that one.
Yeah. I think Rob had another free kick as well. That was a good save.
Yeah.
I think that was in the first half, and we said at the time it was a good height for the keeper, but it was another good save.
And when I looked actually at the possession figures, because I'm passionate about statistics, I saw that Rochdale had 34% possession, so 2/3 basically. But yet we had 8-1 the main chances, main opportunities.
The other way around, I think we had 34%. They had more than us.
Yeah.
That's one of the points I was going to say. Actually, is there's been a few teams that seem to play the tippy tappy football for no benefit. What's the point? I mean, Paul, we've been watching a long time.
Were they? They had a lot of possession, but they didn't seem to do anything really with the ball.
No.
They knocked it about nicely, but not really in any of the dangerous areas. I didn't think they were that great at all. To be honest with you, they didn't. It was quite an easy victory. I can agree with everyone with that. Definitely.
Well, it was a funny one because they obviously you got league position, and that doesn't lie, especially at this time of the season. But we've all been watching football for long enough to know that that's not always how you can judge a game.
No.
And in fact, I used to almost ban people from looking at league positions when we played five-a-side. It was like, don't look at the league table. I'll tell you what to worry about.
Yeah.
But they've apparently had a good record against teams at the top, according to Tony and Matt, and they just dispatched with aplomb, if you like. It was a very professional performance.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a strange one because you kind of run out of things to say on it.
Yeah,
you win 3-0, like, oh, that's it, job done. I had someone say to me as we left, oh, I kind of missed the tension of those last minute winners.
How can you say such a thing?
Yeah.
Wash your mouth out with soap and water, man or woman.
Mike's heart can't take all that.
Enzio had a great game, though. I mean, Enzio the confidence that it gave him, and his first 2 goals for the club were amazing.
Big problem for Matt.
Yeah,
he obviously took Will out of the side to rest him for a big game Wednesday. Enzio,
Tuesday. Don't go on Wednesday.
Not Wednesday, Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. I cannot tell you how many times I've checked everything. It's Tuesday I've got. Enzio coming in as a bit of a placeholder, maybe just to like, go on, you have a run out, and then he goes and scores 2 goals as well.
4 goals. So 4 goals in 2 games from left wing.
From the left wing. Yeah, and 2 goals and 2 goals from right back as well.
Yeah,
I know it's 3 and 3, but the last 2 games, watching those, just mental, really.
It'd be nice if that freed up Dave a little bit. If they suddenly think, the left side's a side they've got to worry about now, and they won't sort of double up and over compensate, covering Dave, give him a bit more.
I think that's what's causing it, though, is because of Dave, he is being doubled up on, which is leaving space elsewhere.
But let them keep doing that. If we can score that many goals from the left.
But he's still beating his players as well. I know he needs to stay with us and have that final ball, which is the only little thing that lets him down a little bit.
Yeah.
But he still yesterday was beating 2-3 players. There was one moment where he beat 2, turned around, ran back again, and then beat one of them again. What are you doing? But I've mentioned him as being a player that not necessarily to look out for. I said, but you could, when he gets on the ball, you'll have the whole ground sitting up and watch him. How impressive has he been with you, Gabriel? Have you like watching Dave, had your boy David?
Yeah. Up until a month ago, I would have said that he was the most important from far from our team, especially on the offensive side. The last month, he wasn't up to, I don't know, the performances that he had against Newport, for example. We would have expected that to continue. But he's still a very good player. The problem is that the opposition is taking special measures to block him. That's clear.
Yeah.
You can see sometimes he's surrounded by 3 or 4 defenders. So it's clear that he cannot do. It's still the player in our team that has the most chances, I don't know, to get an offer. from another club, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because he can make a difference. He can.
And as I was saying, he's exciting to watch. He gets everyone on their feet, on the edge of their seats. But other good news. Harry had a full 90, really. He came on after 10 minutes, but there was 5 added, so almost a full 90 for Harry. Obviously not good news for Kenny hobbling off, but the report afterwards was it's a precaution. Once we've had someone who could come on, we kind of went, well, let's not take the risk. But yeah, it's good to see Harry running around again and not knocking in an own goal, thanks sake.
I missed it last week, so I didn't get to see that, but yeah.
Do you know what? It was 4-0 at the time, and you're like, you know what? If we're going to score an own goal, we'll have one of the more senior players getting it who's not going to bother. He's not going to be too downhearted with it.
It's his usual tenacious self, though, everywhere around the field, wasn't he? You know, it's like a new signing, as we've said, isn't it, almost? Yeah,
absolutely. We're getting everyone back for the run-in, which is going to be huge for us. I think Tance is a couple of weeks away.
I heard that, yeah.
But even with that, another new signing, if you like, coming off the bench for our first academy player as a Football League club coming off the bench. I know it was only a short little burst. I've never actually seen him play before, but I've heard various things about him. What were your impressions of Killian?
Me? Yeah. Yeah, strong. Looks strong, didn't he? Quick. Fantastic work, from Marlon and Ricky and all the team down there. I'm sure there's plenty of other players who are going to sort of make their way through. And just seeing Killian getting his chance has got to inspire them and think that, you know, work hard, keep going. You know, you could make it as a professional footballer at our club. And, you know, we probably need one or two to come through as well, help with the squad over time as well, you know, in the next couple of years maybe. So it'll be interesting to see. One lad went off to Brighton, I think, didn't he, a couple of months ago? You know, got to be a positive as well for all the other academy guys. So I'd like to see him definitely get a go, have an input in the running, and if Tance is out for a bit. It was funny yesterday, wasn't it, with Omar and Richie up front?
Yeah.
That's the first time I think we said that we've seen that. So, but it worked all right. It just meant we had to do all the running, didn't it?
Yeah. Twin Towers, yeah.
Yeah.
And what did you make of Killian Gabriel?
Well, to look a little bit back a month ago at the end of the transfer period, we had the 4 informed strikers valid at that time, and we let Shaw Silva go. And in hindsight, probably Matt regrets now that he let him go, because we lost 2 of the 4 strikers for the last game at least. And I don't know, Shaw Silva, he started as first 11 there. He scored a goal. Then he was put on the bench, but he still scored another goal one game before. He showed that here he had very few minutes, but there he showed that he still knows where the goal is. So he could have been useful here. But having a young prospect in the team and having him confirm, hopefully, it's also a great option.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I don't think Taz believed me when I was saying that the players called him Mini Dundo, and he thought I was making it up, I think, but it was actually at the manager's evening. Matt had said it, so it wasn't actually insider knowledge or anything. It was just Matt had said it, and I remembered that. But yeah, he looked strong. He didn't look like a young sort of 18, 19-year-old playing his first match. I think there was one occasion he bounced one of the defenders off of him, which very much reminds us of an informed Dundo. But yeah, Toby's done amazingly well up there, actually. He settled in quite nicely. I did see one comment from one of their supporters. I didn't say anything because I just didn't feel the need. But it was like when he was saying it was a great atmosphere to score a goal in the last minute or so. And they said, you get used to it. You're a big club now. And I was like, hang on, you bought our 5th choice striker and you're giving it you're a big club. Oh, come on. But anyway, let's move on. But you know, it's a great performance. I just one of those that more of, but less of because there'll be less for me to talk about. Nice professional job. Yeah. But yeah, we got minutes in the bench. I think Kenny should hopefully not be too bad. I think they said Ali was probably back in contention, but they just decided not to take the risk. Not sure if you mentioned John or not, but again, you've got Joe storming it at right back at the moment. But I think Matt's going to have a little bit of a selection headache soon, which will be good. Yeah.
Need that squad, don't we?
Absolutely. Coming up. It's getting to the stage of the season when my old spreadsheet starts coming out, where I start working out the permutations of who's going to do what in the last sort of 10 games. Love it.
I was looking a little bit at our fixtures coming up, and it is, I tried to work out how many points I thought we might get. And I think I was being optimistic because I made it about 20 up.
This season is completely insane. Sutton fans being optimistic.
I know, and it's very unlike me as well.
But on to the big game. So Tuesday. Before I do that, very professional as normal. Pod nominations. So your players of the day, not necessarily man of the match, could be for any reason you like, but could I get a short list of 4 players you think deserve a mention? So if I start with you, Gabriel, who
definitely Ezio, after he scored a double and it's also his very first goals in the whole season. And I would add to that Beautyman, who had a fine appearance for me. And also Luis John had some incredible interventions in defense, in my opinion. And I don't know, the 4th, Bugil is very useful. That was very useful in the last 2 games. He doesn't score. He's not the top scorer. That's clear. But his work is incredible. What he brings for the team. He even had a 30-meter run with the ball at his feet in the first half.
Yes. Paul, who do you think?
Yeah, I think a mention's got to go to Craig Eastman as well. I said at the start of the season, I thought he was going to be a very important player for us. And he's, I think we called it a marauding run for the free kick. He basically ran through about 3 players, didn't he? And then, let's say he won a free kick on the edge of the box for the first goal. He stuck his leg where he needed to for the referee and not be given much of a choice to give the free kick. And I think, solid game as ever. But other than that, a lot of the same names. Enzio, Kizzy, solid again. Getting forward, doing what fullbacks do now. So no, I can't.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I think we can all agree on Enzio. That's clear. I think what I'll do is I'll take your first choice, Gabriel, of Harry Beautyman. I'll take Eastie from you, Paul, and then I'm going to chuck in. It goes opposite to what you were saying, Gabriel, but I'm going to chuck in Richie because he's did a role he's probably not as used to, and got the full 90 in as well. So I think I'll do those 4, and we'll let everyone decide. But Eastie's free kick was quite immense. Let's be clear, he does not dive.
No, it wasn't a dive at all.
He just makes sure the referee sees that he was fouled. That's the important distinction there.
It's putting your foot in the right place to get fouled at the right time. Basically.
Drawing the foul, and as sorry, Gabriel, but as Magic used to do when it was playing 5-a-side, he'd scream ref before the challenge comes in, and the ref turns to see the challenge coming. So I'm going to just quickly introduce Barry from Wigan. He does the Together with Unity podcast Progress for Unity podcast, sorry. And we had a quick chat earlier on today. So we will play that now. You guys will have to listen to the podcast to hear what's going on there. So that's just going to come in now. Hi, joining me now is Barry from the Progress with Unity, the Wigan Athletic Podcast. Hiya, Barry. How are you?
Very well, Mike. Thank you very much. Lovely to be here with you this morning.
Yes. It was. Scheduling made us do it a little bit earlier, but I'm hearing you're delicate, so I'll have to turn the volume down a little bit. How was you beat at Wimbledon yesterday, and then you went to a beer festival, was it?
Yeah, it was. It was very, very, very good actually. Yeah, sampled a couple of delightful ales. Yeah.
Well, some of the Sutton fans we gutted that we're here on Tuesdays. It's not still going on, is it? Because
no, it finished yesterday. It was still some Wimbledon fans in and enjoying a tipple to drown the sorrows, But
Well, it'll take more than that to drown their sorrows at the moment. So. We're watching with interest because a few years ago, Wimbledon and us passed each other. We came down from the Conference South and they went up on the same season. And it's looking possible that the same thing's going to happen this year, but us going the other direction, which will mean that we still haven't played Wimbledon in a league match at all, ever, which is quite fun. But onto yourselves. Obviously, we know a little bit about Wigan from TV mostly. I didn't know, we were speaking beforehand, I didn't realise that it's so recent that you were a non-league club. So actually a few of our fans may well have gone to games between us before. But you've essentially lived in a different world from us for the last few years. So what do you know about Sutton?
Right. Well, I think the first thing I know is we've never met, even in
okay.
Right, so obviously you'd have been in the Southern League and we was in the Northern Premier. You'd have been knocking around with Wimbledon at the time and Hereford United, etc. We were playing Stafford Rangers and United and teams like that. So we never crossed paths. We have a connection with you, and it's a EFL Trophy connection as well. One of your former players, Paul Rogers, who played against Coventry City in that brilliant FA Cup tie, signed for Wigan Athletic in the 90s, and he played in the Auto Windshield, as it was known then, against Millwall at Wembley, and scored the winning goal in the 90th minute, and we won 1-0. So for me, that's a great connection, and he was a great player for us.
Yeah, we definitely, he was one of the players in the group when I first started supporting Sutton. Obviously, it's only as you get older and the times when you look back, you think, actually, I can appreciate that. But at the time, I was all for the strikers and Lenny Dennis at the time. But he was an absolutely great player. I know we spoke before and we sold him on to Sheffield United, and I kind of lost track of him. I know there's lots of people who kept track, but we didn't have the wonderful world of the interweb back then, so I didn't know a huge amount about him, but that's lovely. It's Curly, we used to call him. Not entirely sure why someone will fill me in. But the thing that I obviously know about Wigan is my stag do was actually based around the FA Cup final. So not 9 years ago, I think it is. 2013,
yeah. May.
Yeah. So,
11th of May.
I should know how long it is. I got worried.
But yeah, on the arc.
But yeah, it was a strange old day because I deliberately did it to make sure there was a focus rather than just people getting me battered and left on the side of the motorway somewhere. So we had a great time watching it, and you beat Man City that day. Were you there at Wembley?
Oh God, was I there at Wembley? Yes, indeed. Yeah, we sing a song called "We Beat Man City with a Watson Goal," and that's one of our terrace chants. It was well, if I said it was the greatest day of my life, my wife's in the other room there, I think she'd probably agree. It was growing up as a kid. I mean, like yourself, you went to that Coventry game in the FA Cup, and I supported Wigan Athletic in non-league, and the FA Cup was the the pinnacle of the season to get a tie away at Sheffield Wednesday. that was fantastic. And then to go on that journey where we actually got to the final, it wasn't about winning. We got to the final and we played Manchester City. It was just being there. And I remember, the traditional hymn, Abide With Me, they sing, while that was going on. And looking around the stadium, there was other men, grown men, ugly, toothless, in floods of tears, because the realization that this was it, we'd reached the pinnacle, and it was fantastic. And I remember the game, get to 10 minutes, keep it at goal, goalless. We'll see what happens. Then it got to 20 minutes, it's still goalless. Then it got to 40 minutes, and I'm thinking, we're the better team here. Never mind, Then come out in the second half, and we was all over them. Callum McManaman had the game of his life. Sean Maloney was absolutely buzzing. Our defenders were playing fantastic with Emerson Boyce, who's a southern lad from Aylesbury, played at Luton Town. He was our club captain, played out of his skin. Paul Sharner, who's a legend in Wigan, an Austrian centre-half. Brilliant stuff. And they just played out the skin. And then Zabaleta got sent off for City with 10 minutes to go. And we thought, hey up, lads, we're going to win this. And obviously we did. And Ben Watson, who scored the winning goal, broke his leg in January at Anfield playing against Liverpool.
Yeah.
And that was his first game back. And he came on as a substitute in the 87th minute for Jordi Gomez. Maloney swung in the corner. He rose majestically at the near post, headed over I can't remember the City goalkeeper now. He's gone out my head. Joe
Hart.
Who?
Joe Hart.
Joe Hart, of course. How can I not remember Joe Hart? Over Joe Hart's head into the top far corner. Yeah, I can still see it now. Still bringing a tear back.
So what I'm hearing from all this is you've had your turn, and you're going to be quite happy to let Sutton have their turn.
Yeah. Well, we've actually won this particular tournament twice before. We beat Brentford 3-1 back in 85, 1st of June 85, and I was there for that. And it was known as the friendly final. That was a week after the ISIL disaster, if you remember that.
Yes.
And it was a month after the Bradford fire as well. So there've been a lot of tragedies around football the previous few weeks. So they billed it as the friendly final, where fans could mingle together and, shake hands. And we did. Brentford were very respectful towards us, even though we'd beaten them. And that was a great game, played in the sunshine. Chris Kamara was in the Brentford side that day. And they had a great striker called Terry Cook, who played up front for Brentford. And he was a really dangerous player for them. But we were full of quality with a lot of young kids coming through. Mike Newell, I don't know if you remember Mike Newell. He went on to play for Everton and won the league with Blackburn. He was up front. Paul Jewell played for us. We were just fantastic. And we beat them 3-1. And then we beat Millwall, as I mentioned, with Paul Rogers scoring the goal as well in that game. So we sing we've won it 2 times. We've won it 2 times. The pizza trophy. We'd like to sing we've won it 3 times. So don't think you're going to get any favours. You might be getting some favours.
So other than the Pizza Cup, the season obviously for you guys have been going quite well. But you've had some quite well documented problems with this season. I think, did you go down the season you won the cup, or was it the season after?
Weren't down the season. We're the only club in history to get relegated and win the FA Cup in the same.
Yeah, so you went down, and then it's been a bit of a journey, and you were in administration not that long ago, and sort of coming back out the other side now. So what were the expectations of the season before you started, and are you matching them or exceeding them?
The expectations were we hoped we'd have a club at the end of last season. We didn't care what division we were going to be in. With no players, we were playing the youth team most games. The thing is, we've got possibly the greatest manager we've ever had in Liam Richardson. He pulled a miracle out of the back. What a man he is. He is. We've actually named a stand after him.
Already, wow.
Yeah, well, he was for his exploits last season, and also I don't if you're aware of Charlie White collapsed in training with cardiac. Liam was the first to respond to him and give him CPR, and they reckon he saved his life. So he's just, he's the man. He's Wigan Athletic now, so it's never going to change. So last season we were desperate to have a club. It looked for all intents and purposes we were going to get kicked out of the league at one point with no buyers, and if we didn't find somebody in before the 16th of June, all done and dusted, we'd be out of the league. But we managed to get the club sold. The team came in behind the scenes, a new CEO, Mal Brannigan, the owner, and the chairman are from Bahrain. And we was hoping that we'd have a bit of mid-table mediocrity. And it was a free hit for them because we had a club. We'd avoided relegation by the skin of our teeth, which was an absolute miracle. So we didn't expect anything. But one thing I did notice during the summer, we were picking up some really decent players on free transfers. We got Tom Naylor and Jack Watmore from Portsmouth, tremendous players at League One level. We brought in Charlie White from Sunderland. We also brought in Max Power, who played with us before. We know how good Maxie is. They were all free transfers. James McLean came in on a free transfer, a current international player. Tendai Darikwa, club captain. He was with us last season on loan. He signed a permanent contract. Will Keane was with us last season, and he was only on short-term deals every 3 months, getting renewed, and he signed a new contract with us. Just absolute quality player, superb. We brought in Jordan Cousins from Stoke City on a free transfer. Unfortunately, he got injured early season, so he's been a big miss for us. Guion Edwards from Ipswich Town on a free transfer. And we did really well in the market, bringing in these really solid League One players. So you're thinking to yourself, we're building a decent squad here, and we just might do something. And then the first away game was Sunderland, who were fancied to go up. We took the lead, was 1-0 up. And one thing with the team, you could tell, we finished last season with 5 players on the books. So it was a brand new squad we had to put together. And that first game, you could tell it was brand new because it fell apart a little bit as the game went on. And then after that, we've never looked back. I mean, we've got a stick away record. Our own form's not been the best, but our record. Yeah.
So what kind of team are we going to be facing? Because obviously priority would look like you're second in the league. You've got a couple games in hand, I think. So surely the title is going to be more of a priority to you guys. So you're going to just bin this off, yeah?
Yeah. Well, we've got 2 games in hand on Rotherham, who are top, but with 3 and 4 games in hand on everybody else around us. So but what that means is we've got a lot of games to fit in between now and the end of April because the season finishes in April. So we're looking at 6-7 weeks. We're playing twice a week as it is now, every single week. So if we progress to the final, that means the Bolton game, we're supposed to play Bolton on the Saturday, that the final's on the Sunday. That'll have to be moved. So one place in a week, we're going to be playing 3 games. So it's going to be extremely difficult. We're picking up quite a few injuries at the moment, and we're picking up suspensions because the players are playing a lot of games, and it's taking it out on the bodies, and they're picking up these bookings and what have you. So in the Pizza Trophy, we've been playing the kids. So we've been putting the youth team out, the under 23s, with maybe 1 or 2 experienced pros in there. The goalkeeper will be Jamie Jones. He's played all the way through in that, and he's in his 30s, and he's a good keeper, but he's not our number 1. But we've just lost 3 players to suspension, so they didn't play yesterday against Wimbledon, and they're not going to be available on Saturday. So they might get a run out just to keep them ticking over. And those 3 are club captain Tendai Darikwa, who's a right wing back. Graham Shinney, who was just signed from Derby County, he was their player of the season. He's a midfielder. and the one and only James McLean. So I'd be very surprised if he doesn't play. I think he's held on to play because he's got a 3-match suspension for what was an harsh red card against Fleetwood last week. But apart from that, I'm not too sure. I think there might be a little bit of rotation. I think he'll put a team out that he believes can win the game, but whether it really is strong enough against a physical side, because you said you were a physical side. I'm not too sure. It's going to be it's a tight one to call. It's a tight one.
I mean, we've had a few games this season where we've clearly surprised people because we're little old Sutton and we're non-league tin pot, and then suddenly they're going away blaming everything under the sun for their defeat. We ran Cardiff close very much at the start of the season when we were in a bit of a difficult spell results-wise. It was 3-2, I think, but they had to bring on one of their big players from the bench to seal the game for them. Otherwise, we could have nicked that. And apparently, yesterday, the Rochdale team, who aren't doing great in the leagues, I don't know why, they were full of how small and non-league we were and how they were going to just dismiss us. And they went home with a nice 3-0 defeat to take back to Rochdale for them. So yeah, hopefully, no disrespect, but hopefully you guys just dismiss us as puny little Sutton.
No, well, I can guarantee that's one thing we won't do because, throughout our history, we've perpetually been the underdogs. Wigan Athletic, come from non-league, languished in the bottom tiers of the English Football League for like 20, 30 years and then went on this crazy run. But, that's how we looked on as like a small to medium-sized club. And it's what we are. And the supporters will not disrespect you. There'll be no, we understand. I'm serious. We understand the threat that you pose. And the management team will definitely not. If we were sitting pretty at the top of the league, we'd put a first 11 out. If we was mid-table, we'd put a first 11 out. It's just that we've got so many games coming up. Like I'm saying, he has to rotate. We rotated yesterday. Yeah. The other thing is as well, yesterday, Josh McGuinness didn't play. We signed Josh McGuinness from the Northern Ireland striker. And he's been on the bench for the last 2 games. And I'm not sure if he's... I'm not sure why, if he's got a little knock or he's just, leaving him out to rest him a bit. But again, that's another option to bring Josh McGuinness in, who's, been there and done it and played in World Cups. So, I don't think we'll put a full strength side out. But by the same token, I don't think we're going to disrespect this competition.
Yeah. No rolling over for us. Okay.
No, definitely not.
Understood. So we've got kind of no idea how many we're bringing, to be honest. This is one of those things that obviously I love all the Sutton fans, but we're a bit of a strange bunch, and it depends on what mood takes people. Because we were a couple of years ago, we did a competition, the Scottish Iron Brew Cup, and we were the top 2 non-league sides that weren't promoted, and we were invited into it with some Welsh teams and Northern Irish teams. And we were like, you know what, we'll have this as a bit of a laugh. We ended up playing a game in Dublin, and we actually ended up bringing more to Dublin than we had to Leyton Orient, which is only a few miles away from us. So yeah, it's one of those games where it's Tuesday night. It's quite a trek, but you might find that suddenly there's loads of people, or it might be just a few. But where's a good one for them? The important thing now, where's a good place for them to drink beforehand?
Right, well, there's quite a few watering holes in and around Wigan. I mean, if they're coming up on the train, as you get off the train at Wigan Northwestern, you turn left to walk towards the ground, and it's only a 15-minute walk. And you go under, as soon as you come out the train station, you turn left, you go under a bridge, a train bridge. And if you turn left there, immediately on your left, there's a pub called Wigan Central. And it's a real ale pub, and it's friendly, and it won't rip you off. I think you like £3 a pint or something like that. They sell pies in there, and real ale. I'd recommend there, absolutely.
Right.
If they're coming in on the coaches and the minibuses or driving up and they're parking around the ground, our ground is set at the back of a retail park. And on the retail park, there is one of these franchise pubs, like it's not a Wetherspoons, but it's that site where you can get a meal and that. And it's called the Red Robin.
Right. Oh, they weren't drinking that.
No, well,
Car shorter than the Robins, and they wear red, so I can't. I can't imagine.
Where our ground is, it's known as Robin Park. That's what it's been known as for centuries. That area of town. But that's an away friendly pub.
Right. Okay. Well, they might go in there.
But there's a few what you class as boozers in the town centre round the train station.
But you mentioned pie. Now we've seen on social media the last couple of days. Someone's putting up things Wigan kebab. And it was a pie in a bun. Is that?
No, it wasn't a pie in a bun. Bun? What's a bun? Barn cake. Known as a barn cake.
Yeah.
You come into Wigan and say, "Can I have a bun, please?" They'll give you a currant bun with icing on top.
Yeah, and
you don't want to put a pie in that. If you say, "Can I have a barm?" BARM for mate, or a barn cake, as they're known. You'll get one of those. It's like I don't know if do you get oven bottoms down in Sutton?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
There's like a flat bread. I think.
Yeah,
well, that's a barn cake. It's a traditional meal in Wigan, and your pie and your barm, and it comes from when the miners used to work in pits, because we've more pits in Wigan than anywhere else in the world. And they used to eat the pie slapped between two slices of bread or a bun, as we call them, and it used to keep the coal dust off the pie.
Do you know, my brother would love this because since we were children, he would eat literally everything between two slices of bread. It didn't matter what was dinner. He'd put it between. He's had lasagna between two bits of bread. He's had pies between two bits of bread. And we used to joke around making him a sandwich and go, "Do you want some bread to put around your sandwich?" Because he just literally stuck everything between two bits of bread. So I may have to get one of those and have some photos for him. Right,
Galloway's is the place to go. Galloway's pie shop, right? And you'll get a pie barn for I think about $2.50. That's what you're paying your barn cake.
Yeah,
I had mine yesterday before the game. Yeah,
excellent. So I think that's about it for the review. I know I haven't talked about much about the game, but that's fine. I tend not to anyway. Maybe I'm going to be up there on Tuesday and may wander around some of these places and look out for you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Just give us a shout. It'd be lovely to meet you. Do you want a prediction?
Yeah, if you want. I've stopped doing predictions on mine because I did this wonderful spreadsheet and worked out these convoluted systems to make sure I was winning. And my predictions were so bad that even after, essentially cheating, that I just stopped doing it because I was never going to win it. So I was like, well, it's my ball. I'm not playing this game anymore. But far away, go on.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a close game. And again, it all depends on the team. If the team plays that I suspect, I think we'll just nick it 2-1.
Right.
If it doesn't, if he puts the kids out, you'll win.
Okay. Well, hopefully that is the latter.
And as
we got into Wembley, we want to get there.
Yeah, as long as the winner of the tournament comes from this particular side, I'm happy either way.
Yeah. We're hoping. I mean, a little bit selfish, but we were hoping that both yourselves and Rotherham were going to just spin it off and leave us on Hartlepool, because we seem to have a little hex over Hartlepool at the moment. So
all right, okay.
So we're hoping they win the other one as well. But either way, we're just excited to be here. It's all, as I said, shiny and new and fun for Sutton supporters. But thanks for your time. Anyone listening, it's the Progressive Unity Wigan Athletic podcast. Listen to any other weeks and most of this week's, but my voice is on there this week, so you might want to fast forward through that bit. But other than that, it's a brilliant podcast, so please do catch it. Thank you very much, Barry. See you soon.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mike. Lovely to speak. And good luck for the rest of the season. And I genuinely mean this. I hope you get promoted.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much to Barry. That was a really good chat. It was a lot more off camera than was on. Off audio than was on audio. We promised each other like 10 minutes of each other's time, and we spoke for over an hour this morning. You could probably hear the shopping coming in the background as well, because it went way over. But you guys, I think I might be in the position that I'm not very used to being in, but are either of you making the trip?
No, I can't make it.
No.
Unfortunately, no. I've got prior engagements with the children.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Gabriel, are you going to be going?
No, it's the same situation. I have small children. We take them to school in the morning, and it's quite a difficult process because they oppose to that somehow.
This has got to be a first on the show, an away match that I'm the only one going to.
I actually have been to only 2 away games, and those were in London. The FA Cup game and the Leeton away.
Yeah. So I've only done one more than that, Crawley, and that's because friend lives over.
I've done plenty. I went to Bristol Rovers.
Yeah.
I've done a few, but can't do this one, unfortunately. As much as
I'm going to just revel in the moment. I'm the only one making the trip on Tuesday. We had a bit of a chat earlier, and I think some of this will be double handling. But what do you guys think? I mean, I had to admit I don't know an awful lot about Wigan, other than they were in the Premier League not that long ago, and they won the FA Cup the year I got married. But other than that, I don't know a lot about them. I didn't even realise they were in administration last year. I also, Gabriel, you wouldn't necessarily know this, but I didn't realise that Curly had ended up playing for him, Paul Rogers.
Scored the winner against Millwall, didn't he? In
that was mentioned. Yeah, that was definitely mentioned. And when he sort of said it, I was kind of like, did he? Well, I have to admit that back then we didn't have the internet to keep tabs on everyone. Now I know a few people do keep tabs on everyone, but I just kind of left us to go to Sheffield United, and that was it, really. But yeah, he had a big, long professional career. But they are struggling. They're flying high. They've got games in hand. I saw 2 in hand against Rotherham, but Barry pointed out that actually they've got 4 or 5 games in hand on lots of other teams around them, which again brings other problems of fitting those games in. He said they're already playing Tuesday, Saturday. He said so at some point they might have to start playing 3 times a week. So what he was wondering is what kind of team they're going to put out. Good for me because I quite like him, but bad for the team. Apparently James McLean won't be suspended because this competition is counted differently. And as soon as I sort of heard that, I do remember Eastie was available to play against Harrogate for a similar reason anyway. But what do you guys think? If I start with you, Gabriel, what do you think? How's it going to go? Do you know anything about Wigan? I don't.
I watched this morning the extended highlights of the game against Wimbledon. They didn't put up a very good game against a team that we all know that struggles a lot in the last 2 months. They haven't had a victory since December, Wimbledon. They were trying a lot of long-distance shots from outside the area. And the goal came from a shot of outside the area, which was dropped in front by Nick Tsanev. I don't know. It's clear that being second in the League One, it's much better than being third in the League Two. There's one full league difference between them, and it's clear that Sutton are the underdogs. On the other hand, it's clear that we're going into the match confident, with a good morale after the 2 consecutive wins. So I don't know. There's a good chance for us.
Absolutely, yeah.
And Paul, don't know. Anything could happen. You know, we've done all right in cup competitions generally, haven't we? I'm going to say something that might surprise you again, Mike. I've done a little bit of research.
Hey.
I was just curious what sort of side they were putting out in the Papa John's Trophy. So I looked back and I had a look at their side against Arsenal, and they did make quite a lot of changes when they beat Arsenal. But the game previous to that, they beat Oldham 6-0, I think it was, and they pretty much went full strength. So it's going to be I'd expect they will probably go sort of half and half with some strength on the bench if they need it. But how can you predict what's going to happen in this game? It could go. It's the top of the coin, really, isn't it? I know they're the league above and they should have a lot more quality than us, but we've got a lot of fight and we're a very tenacious team, and we are certainly going to be going into that game thinking we've got a chance, no doubt about it.
Barry was saying that there's 3 players suspended, 3 first team players, so he feels that they'll probably play all of those just to give them the run out. But they've got 6 or 7 injuries across the squad, which is going to deplete them. He said if they play the strongest side they can, he feels they should probably beat us, but it'll be close. But he said if you play the kids and we're as physical as we can be, we'll probably be able to bully them out of it a little bit. I did make the point of he was asking what do we play, and I said, well, if you believe the opposition managers will be taken to the field with hobnail boots and stamping on your broken bones. But I said it's not like that. We are big, and I'm sorry if any of the boys listen, but we're big and ugly side to play against. But it's not a dirty side, and we can proper mix it up. But yeah, it should be a good one. They'll definitely be up for it and motivated, especially with the one game for Wembley and Bruce and Matt making it clear all season. This is what we would really love as a trip to Wembley. I think we'll definitely have a few extra tickets sold for that one. But yeah, I'm not doing predictions, but I've said it should be a close game. Hopefully we'll come out of it in a win, or it could be a penalties.
Yeah, could go at penalties. I think that would be my guess. It's going to be close, and if it goes to penalties, we'd take that. You know, a bit of a lottery.
Watch us go up there now and stuff them like 4-0 or something stupid. all of us experts going, oh, I'll be really close. Nope. But yeah, they've definitely got one eye on the title. Although he did, there was quite a bit of conversation. I can't remember if this was included in my bit with him or his bit with me. He did kind of say that there would be a bit of tinge of disappointment if they went up to the Championship, because he would miss League One. He said it's a lot, as you go up, it's a lot less friendly. The other teams and the oppositions, he said it's just the fun gets taken out of it a little bit the further you go up, which obviously we have to be quite mindful of ourselves. We don't want the fun to disappear.
No. I mean, if we were to, we're all dreaming of could we go up? Could we make it in the League One? But it would be so tough, wouldn't it, if we did? But it doesn't stop us wanting to get there.
No, I mean, the real benefit, if you like, is, as someone said, it would guarantee us at least 3 years league football.
I hate it to be a Yeovil, though, and then plummet.
I genuinely don't think it will ever happen, only because we might slightly decline over the years, but I don't think we'll plummet in just successive seasons and stuff. I just think it's just not going to be our style, especially as Matt's going to sign a 50-year contract. And Bruce will be walking in as soon as we're at Wembley before we go on and go, no, Matt, just sign this, don't worry. But yeah, looking forward to it, and it should be an absolute good game, and hopefully, because I'm going up there, good atmosphere. But talking of atmosphere, I don't know if you've seen it, but there was a little bit of talk on the Facebook page asking about sort of what could we do, how can we get a bit more of an atmosphere going on at home. I did mention it to you, Paul, on Saturday about obviously with Bradford going to come down with possibly over 1,000 of them. It's going to clearly make a lot more noise than us. And I know you were involved years and years and years back when we were trying to get a bit of an atmosphere going. But what kind of things can we do? Because I mean, we all have our own spot, as I've well documented. I have my own spot, and I know everyone has their own spot. But it's what kind of things can we do? Can we try to get things going?
Yeah, I mean, us lot that we used to stand on the shoebox at one point move round behind the goal many years ago to try and help with the atmosphere. But yeah, we do generally try to leave it to a lot of the youngsters now, all getting on a bit. So we are kind of leaving it to the youngsters now. I don't know if something needs to change on that front. It's down to the people who want to sing need to congregate, don't they? They need to get behind the goal there, get under a bit of roof, and try and generate the noise. So it just needs a gathering. It needs everyone to sort of come together, and if whoever wants to be making the noise, they can just all get behind a goal and get involved, join in.
Yeah, I think I do remember the sort of handing of the baton almost over to the youth.
Yeah.
But even then, there's some of the grumpiness of the elders go, "Oh, you can't sing that. You shouldn't sing that," and it gets a bit of a division, a bit difficult sometimes. But without being as cringy as it sounds, and I said it does sound really sad, but do we need to say this is a designated area, and therefore the people that might go to games on their own, who doesn't necessarily know a lot of people, would feel comfortable going and joining in? Or even more cringy, a bit more organised, having someone actually organise it. I know that sounds awful, and I know we take the piss out of other clubs for suggesting that.
That's very Premier League, Mike.
I know. I think Bromley were talking about it.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah. But what do you think, Gabriel? I mean, you kind of come into the library.
That, this probably will come over time, because I guess from what I read and from what I heard that 5 years ago or 7 years ago, there was like a third of these spectators, and all the rest came in the last few years with the success of the team. So they're new supporters, just as I am. And I don't know, with time, if you get 3,000 spectators at every game for the next 5 years, it will be also the singing there.
That's a valid point. There's lots of new supporters who don't maybe know that they have the stories and the culture to sing about. It did make me laugh to hear him singing about Carshalton. I was like, what the hell are you on about? But yeah, it's a very valid point of new people needing their own identity with the club. So yeah, maybe it will just come organically without any resorting to any of those.
Yeah, and the other thing is that it should be, I don't know, 5-7 people that can be leaders of the singing, and probably this is lacking. It's only the teenagers that are going there and randomly singing.
I think that is definitely true. It does probably need a few of us. I mean, I'm such a hypocrite because I rarely join in. So it's really hypocritical to me to think, oh, we need to make some noise here. Okay, you should probably be one of those doing it as well. But I think it's easier away because we're all lumped in the same area. Whereas when you're at home, we're all dotted all over the place.
There was great singing at Leeton. That recalls me.
Yeah. That's because they were rude to us a couple of times as well. Wasn't it? Can't remember what they were doing.
Yeah, you'll be starting songs up at Wigan, no doubt, Mike.
No. We'll quietly go, I can't believe where I am. I'm lost. I don't know where I am. Is there a phone signal up here? I can't. But no, that is a perfect, gents. It was a really, really good one. Thank you very much for your time always. Thanks for chatting to me. I think we managed to cover everything somehow, stumbled through it. That's amazing.
Good to see the new stand open as well, by the way. I don't think we mentioned that.
Say that again, sorry?
Good to see the new stand open on a small scale yesterday.
Yeah.
It would be nice to see I think on tomorrow, Monday, they are starting to take the terrace out, aren't they, and extend that and do what they're doing with that. So
yeah, AD was saying they'd hoped to get the TARDIS side ready, but it won't be ready now.
Yeah.
So I think the stands coming out and Tranmere will have both sets of seating only. And then Bradford, they hope for it all to be ready by Bradford with the new terracing and so on.
How many can Tranmere bring then? Do we know? Probably only
So it's going to be all the seats there, which was 280 something, I think, and then I think it's similar in the other stand, or 230 something.
Yeah.
So it's going to be slightly reduced, which is just one of those things.
Tranmere have been to our place a few times. It's not like a club coming for the first time and everyone wants to come.
Yeah,
a lot. Yeah. They've been sort of not half a dozen times, but 2 or 3 times, no doubt. So,
and wouldn't say this normally, but the Tranmere lot are decent fans. Yeah. So to be honest, if they snuck in our end, I don't think it'd be the end of the world. To be honest,
they might be looking for a bit of revenge as well after we nicked.
Yeah, no, absolutely. They were one of the clubs that when they came down to National League just kind of went, we're here because we deserve to be here.
Yeah,
they embraced it. So yeah, they're all right. I like the Tranmere fans.
No, I do. Yeah, they're good people.
Yeah, so if anyone at the club's listening, just let them buy tickets wherever they like. Yeah, good stand. And also, just got to mention, if anyone hasn't seen it yet, get to Twitter, follow Amber Salamander, and have a look at her cake for her birthday. She's made a birthday cake in the shape of the ground, and it looked amazing. My sugar levels spiked a little bit, but I was just looking at it. But yeah, it's very talented and by all accounts very, very tasty as well, although she said she didn't want to cut it up and eat it. But yeah, it looked really, really good. But yeah, no, the new stand looked good. There was again conversation about changing the seats on the main stand to yellow. I stand by my position. That will look lovely for photos when it's empty, but when people's bums are sitting on the seats, it makes no difference whatsoever what colour it is.
No.
But yeah, I'm sure it will all be on brand eventually.
Yeah.
Everything will be nice and yellow and brown, same as everything in my life. But yeah, thank you very much, gents. And thanks everyone for listening. Please do share the podcast. Please review it if you can. Any comments, drop me an email, mike@suttonpodcast.com, or on any of the socials. I do try and answer anything. Don't abuse me because I don't like it. No one abuses, that's wrong. I did leave myself open for an attack the other day almost because I was taking a piss out of someone's away record, and then I was like, yeah, you don't go to many away games, so don't mock someone who does. But there was one other conversation which I will bring up in a future one. It was Mark who was talking to me about his away record, especially with his flag that he bought 25 years ago or something. And he said it's never seen a victory in all the times he's dragged it around the country. So at a future episode, we will talk about different people's superstitions and bad luck. So just think of those for next time you guys are on. I'll probably be making you say them. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.